was in Bellarmine actually. I had a dream, and there the dream was that somebody very close to me had brought me into Bellarmine and had taken me in front of Ramakrishna. There that person said that I have guided you, I have taught you, I have done what I could do. Now I feel I won't be here much longer with you. So now I want you to go to him, because he will take care of you when I am no longer here. He will guide you. He will direct your life. He will help you in all the difficulties that may occur in this life. As the person said this, there was just a sort of a gentle pushing. Go to him, go to him, go to him. And as I started to look back to the person who was pushing me and back around, things started to fade. That person started to fade. That environment that was there started to fade. Everything started to fade. And who was there in front of me was this person, Sri Ramakrishna. And the question that first came to my mind when I looked over at him was, who is Sri Ramakrishna? And as Swami Harinamananda had said last week, that it is very difficult to describe or tell who he was. So what I would like to do today, in this first act, is try to present you what the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna said as to who is Sri Ramakrishna.
M was standing in the Panchavati and saw Sri Ramakrishna coming toward him. Behind him the sky was black with the rain cloud. Its reflection in the Ganges made the water darker. The disciples felt that Sri Ramakrishna was God incarnate, a divine child, 5 years old, radiant with the smile of innocence and purity. Around him were the sacred trees of the Panchavati, under which he had practiced spiritual discipline and had beheld visions of God. At his feet flowed the sacred river Ganges, the destroyer of all men's sins. The presence of this God-man charged the trees, shrubs, flowers, plants, and temples with spiritual fervor and divine joy. Sri Ramakrishna returned to his room and sat on the small couch.
What do people think of me? Do they think anything in particular about me when they see me in Samadhi?
Thakur, we feel you a wonderful synthesis of knowledge, love and renunciation, and on the surface, a natural spontaneity. Many divine experiences have passed like a huge steamboats through the depth of your inner consciousness. Still you maintain outwardly this utter simplicity. Many cannot understand it, but few are attracted by this state alone, Thakur.
Have I an ego?
Yes, sir. Little. You have kept it to preserve your body, Thakur, and to enjoy divine love in company of these devotees and impart a spiritual knowledge to them. Further, you have kept this trace of ego by praying to the Divine Mother for it.
No, I have not kept it. It is God Himself who has left it in me. It is God who does all these things. I do not know anything. Well, After seeing all this, what do you feel?
Thakur, I feel that Christ, Chaitanya Deva and yourself, all three are one and the same. It is the same person that has become all these three.
Yes, yes. One. It is indeed one.
As he said this, Sri Ramakrishna pointed with his finger to his own body.
Don't you see that it is he alone who dwells here in this way?
That's true, Thakur. You explained clearly other day how God incarnates himself on earth.
Tell me what I said.
Thakur, you told us to imagine a field extending to the horizon and beyond. It extends without any obstruction, but we cannot see it on account of a wall in front of us. In that wall, there is a round hole. Through the hole, we see a part of that infinite field.
Tell me what that hole is.
Thakur, you are that hole. Through you can be seen everything, that infinite meadow without any end.
I see. You have understood that. That is very good.
It is indeed difficult to understand that, Thakur. One cannot quite understand how good, perfect Brahman that he is can dwell in that small body.
The Divine Mother of the universe manifests herself through this 3.5 cubits man, as in the case of Krishna, Rama and Chaitanya. The greatest manifestation of God is in man. If you seek God, you must seek Him in the incarnations.
Once I asked Mahapurush Maharaj, Maharaj, there are so many deities in the Hindu religion. Kali, Jagadhatri, Shiva, Krishna, Radha, and so many devotees. And you have given me the holy name of Ramakrishna. He even said the Holy Mother. I asked you about Holy Mother. He said Holy Mother is Sri Ramakrishna. Holy Mother is not different from Sri Ramakrishna. When you repeat Sri Ramakrishna's mantra, the Holy Mother's mantra is automatically repeated. Holy Mother and Sri Ramakrishna are not different. Then I said, what about Kali, Jagadhatri? Are these deities different? But no, they are all in Sri Ramakrishna. You have this faith that Sri Ramakrishna is Sarva Deva Devi Sarupa. He is the embodiment of all devas and devis. I said Kali, well, yes, Kali. I said Jagadhatri, well, yes, Jagadhatri. Sri Ramakrishna is Kali, Sri Ramakrishna is Jagadhatri. Sri Ramakrishna all forms. So when you should respect and salute all different forms, but you know that in your Ishta, in Sri Ramakrishna, all these deities are there.
One of Sri Ramakrishna's main teachings was aspiration or intensity for the divine, intense love for the divine. He called it Vyakulata, means intense aspiration or intense love for God. Once in the gospel, a student asked his teacher, "What kind of intensity do I need to have the vision of God?" And the teacher took the student to a pool of water and dunked his head into the water. Now, as the student was grasping for air, trying to get out, the teacher, after a while, let him go and pulled his head up. He said, "That type of yearning that you were trying to get for oxygen, that is the type of desire and yearning you need for God." It is, one Swami, our Bhajanananda, he used to tell us that it's not the amount of japa or meditation that you do. It's with what intensity you do it with. With what type of love and intensity that you do it with. That will make the difference. He used to also tell us that these techniques that we do, such as japa, such as chanting the mantra meditation, they're only to create that attitude of divine love. Once you have the attitude of love for the divine, automatically you will go. Nothing else is necessary. So in this next section, we will see from the gospel an aspect of love for God.
Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna arrived at the house of the Brahmin lady, Galat Ma, who was grief-stricken on account of her daughter's death. People were standing there in rows. They were all eager to get a glimpse of Sri Ramakrishna. The Brahmani had a sister. Both of them were widows. The Brahmani had been busy all day making arrangements to receive Sri Ramakrishna. While he was at Nanda Boshe's house, she had been extremely restless, going out of the house every few minutes to see if he was coming.
He's here. He's here. Oh, Sri Ramakrishna, thank you for coming. This joy is too much for me. Perhaps I shall die of it. Tell me, friends, how shall I be able to live? I did not feel such a thrill even when Chandi, my daughter, used to visit the house, accompanied by armed guards lining both sides of the street. Oh, now I have no grief at her death. I was so afraid that you would not come. And then I thought, if that happened, I should throw into the Ganges all the things I had prepared for your reception and entertainment. I wouldn't speak to you anymore. If you visited a place, I would go there and look at you from a distance and then come away. But you're here, so let me go and tell everyone how happy I am. Let me go and tell Yogan of my good luck. You know, a laborer won 100,000 rupees in a lottery, and the moment that he heard the news, he died of joy. He really, truly died. I'm afraid the same thing's going to happen to me. Please, friends, bless me, or else I shall certainly die.
Wow, what a devotion.
What are you doing? What are you doing? I should be saluting you. I'm just so happy to see all of you here.
Come down, sister. Can I manage things if you stay there? Can I do it all by myself? Anne was stroking Sri Ramakrishna's feet. They talked together.
Ah, how happy they are.
Yes, Thakur. How amazing. Similar things happened with the two women at the time of Jesus. They too were sisters and devoted to Christ, Martha and Mary.
Tell me the story.
Thakur, Jesus Christ, like you, went to their house with his devotee. At the sight of him, one of the sisters was filled with ecstatic happiness, while other sister, all by herself, was arranging the food to entertain Jesus. She explained to the master, saying, "Lord, please judge for yourself how wrong my sister is. She is sitting in your room and I am doing all these things by myself." Thakur, at that time Jesus said, "Your sister indeed is blessed. She has developed the only things needed in human life, God, love of God."
The whole thing is to love God and taste His sweetness. He is sweetness, and the devotee is its enjoyer. The devotee drinks the sweet bliss of God. Further, God is the lotus and the devotee the bee. The devotee sips the honey of the lotus. As a devotee cannot live without God, so also God cannot live without his devotee. Then the devotee becomes the sweetness and God its enjoyer. The devotee becomes the lotus and God the bee. It is the Godhead that has become these two in order to enjoy his own bliss. That is the significance of the episode of Radha and Krishna. At the beginning of spiritual life, the devotee should observe such rites as pilgrimage, putting a string of beads around his neck, and so forth. But outward ceremonies gradually drop off as he attains the goal, the vision of God. Then his only activity is the repetition of God's name and contemplation and meditation on Him.
As Sri Ramakrishna spoke these words to the devotees, he was overwhelmed with divine fervor.
Thakur, wow, Sri Balaram's father is here. Wow.
Sri Ramakrishna began to speak to Balaram's father, who was seated silently and counting his beads.
Are you the father of Balaram? These people practice so much japa and go to so many sacred places. But why they are like this? Why do they make no progress? Can a mere name achieve anything without the yearning love of the devotee behind it? One should feel great restlessness of soul for the vision of God. Suppose a man repeats the name of God mechanically when his mind is absorbed in lust and greed. Can he achieve anything? Mere muttering of magic words doesn't cure one of the pain of a spider or scorpion sting. One must apply medicine also. Therefore I say, chant the name of God, and with it pray to Him that you may have love for Him. Pray to God that your attachment to such transitory things as wealth, name, and creature comforts may become less and less every day. God reveals Himself to the devotee if only he calls upon Him with a longing heart.
Do you really want to realize Brahman? Do you feel that hunger within you, that thirst within you? Do you ever feel that without God you cannot live? Have you passed a sleepless night because you have not realized God? Look within. If you pass one night, miss 1 hour of sleep, next day you go to the shop and buy sleeping pills. That's how we do. So much conscious of our body, so much conscious of our comforts. We all want religion, but there is a comfortable religion. Easy going religion you want. How many have this hunger for God? All practices what we do really, call it Bhakti Yoga, call it Jnana Yoga, all this is just to create this hunger in us, this thirst, this yearning for God. When it is created in you, or you don't have to have any more spiritual practice, this itself will bring God realization. That is what Sri Ramakrishna says.
the next act, you're going to witness what we'd call the changing point, I'd say, in traditional monasticism in India. Traditionally, the monastic role was to go to the Himalayas or to some place of solitude and do your meditation, your japa, your spiritual practices, and be isolated from the rest of the world. Well, in Ramakrishna's life and in the Ramakrishna order, you'll notice that we do a lot of service to people. In India, you'll notice that we have hospitals, schools, and there's the belief that serving God in man. Well, where did this incident arise? Where did we have the change from this traditional monastic value of going and retiring in solitude to staying in the cities and serving your fellow human beings as the embodiments of God? Well, the incident you're going to see is the change that occurred. It is not in the Gospel of Ramakrishna. This is in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, the great master. And it is the incident that changed us from the traditional monasticism to now working within the city and realizing God in the place by serving God in man.
Sri Ramakrishna was seated in his room in Dakshineshwar, surrounded by devotees. Narendra was also present. Sri Ramakrishna was explaining the essence of the Vaishnava religion.
This religion advises its followers to practice these three salient disciplines sincerely: love of God's name, compassion for all living beings, and service to devotees. God and His name are identical. Knowing the name and the possessor of the name of the same, the devotee should always chant His name with love. Knowing God and His devotees, Krishna and the Vaishnavas, to be the same, one should respect, worship, and honor monks and devotees. Understanding that this world belongs to Krishna, one should show compassion for all beings.
As he said, compassion for all beings, he suddenly went into samadhi. After a while, he came down to a semi-ecstatic state and said,
Compassion for all beings? How foolish to speak of compassion. We, human beings, are as insignificant as worms crawling on the earth. Who are we to show compassion to others? That is absurd. It is not compassion, but service. Service to all. Recognize all His manifestations of God and serve them as such.
Everyone heard Sri Ramakrishna's words, but no one except Narendra understood their significance. When Sri Ramakrishna came to the normal plane of consciousness, Narendra left the room and was talking to some friends.
What a wonderful light I saw in those words of Sri Ramakrishna today. How beautifully did he reconcile the simple, sweet, and refreshing ideal of devotion with knowledge. Aspirants who strive to attain that knowledge, who consider this world and the people within it to be impediments to their spiritual path, will soon develop hatred towards them and go astray. But what Sri Ramakrishna said today in his ecstatic mood is clear. One can bring Vedanta from the forest to the home and practice it in daily life. Let people continue to do whatever they are doing. There is no harm in this. People must believe and understand that it is God who has